Do you know how one survives this sort of change? Destiny.
From now on, you'll be working to contribute to the German war effort.
Your name?
Irena Gut.
You will be in charge of supervising the Jews. Your survival will depend on that.
I have until July 22nd to make sure that this entire sector is Jew-free.
We have no place to go. I saw a place where I can hide you, where no one would ever think of looking for you. In the house of one of the highest-ranking German officers in Tarnopol. I made a vow then if I ever could save a life, I would.
But if anything goes wrong, we all pay the price.
Search everywhere! Everywhere, do you hear me?
What a remarkable story is Irena's. In terms of preparing to play her, you had a script given to you, but how far did you go into researching her on your own?
I mean, I definitely did, because her life is just so tremendous and she's led such a heroic life. And I definitely felt the need, while bringing this performance to life, to live up to the expectations of the life that she led. But I was very lucky to speak with Dan Gordon, who wrote the script, who knew her personally and who helped me prepare and get to know her a little better. He also wrote a biography about her life, and it gave me a little more insight on who she was before the war and after the war, and how she reunited with her sisters. I found a lot of clips of her on the internet, and it just struck me how warm and bright she still felt after all these years of suffering. And it was very important for me to showcase that in the movie. And then I worked with a dialect coach as well in order to prep for the Polish accent.
Oh, very cool. The film really, really shows what was happening then without being hitting you over the head. It's, it's subtle, but man, it lands a punch. What gave her the courage to do what she did? Because obviously, she could be killed for that easily, or her family, or whatever.
I get that question often, and I think it was just inherently a quality that she had in her. I think for her, she had this beautiful way of seeing the best in life and seeing the best in people, and she was just so full of hope that for her it was, I don't think she even thought about it twice to when it came to saving a life or putting her own in front. She would choose others. It was just this quality that she had that I wish we all had, because I think if we were all a little more like her, we'd live in a much more peaceful and beautiful environment. So I don't think it was, I mean, she was definitely very brave and resilient, but I think it just, for her, it wasn't even debatable in her head that if she could do something good, she would immediately.
She's so inspirational. And of course, she takes this enormous risk. She does something many people wouldn't do. And then she takes another, it's not a risk, but it's another step many of us wouldn't have wanted to do. She marries the commandant. And you can see the revulsion on her face in one scene. And to me, that was, it said a lot about what she was able to endure to help others, as you said. Why was her story kept secret by her until 1978?
I think actually the affair that she ended up having with the commandant was a big part of it. I think because of her religion, to her, she, had a tarnished vision of herself and felt a lot of guilt to what she had done with the commandant. So I think she just, once she migrated to the United States, I think she wanted to put that life behind her. I think she didn't want to be reminded of that life that she'd led and of all the atrocities that she'd seen and witnessed. And she just wanted to move on. So she kept quiet for years, and she got a phone call from a student many years later who was researching, because he thought that Second World War was fake, that it was stories. Yeah, he genuinely, inherently believed that it was fake news created by the Jewish community. And so he was going around making phone calls to people and asking what their thoughts were. And so when she received that phone call, and realized that some people thought that all of that had never happened, I mean, obviously she was shocked, and she, decided that once again, she had to, do what's right for the greater good, and to spread her story and talk about the events of what happened, and start sharing everything that she'd witnessed, and to start educating people on the matter.
Wow, amazing. It's difficult when you have a person who represents so many stories like that to properly almost eulogize them in a way. But I think you've done that. And I think, wouldn't she be proud of what you've done and what the company has done making this film? And it's heavy duty material, but there's one moment, there's a few whimsical moments, and there's one really funny one actually, when she insists that the commandant not hire someone to help her in the kitchens because the survivors were below her. And she says, "Oh, I can make this huge feast you're expecting by myself. Don't worry about it." And of course, everyone's in the basement cooking. And I thought, wow, one spirit, one movement.
Yeah,
So
I think it's one of my favorite scenes of the movie. Yeah.
Yes, it's really, really, and it's indicative of the creativity that people had and the ability that she had. There's a scene where you dash them up the stairs from the basement to the attic in seconds. And, it just, yep, she's capable of that. Look what else she's done. What a hero. What a hero. And I am glad to hear about her through your movie. I hadn't heard of her before. So now this is your second Holocaust feature that I know of. The subject matter is obviously important to you. Tell me about it.
Well, I mean, yes, obviously, but I think choosing this wasn't necessarily because it was another World War II movie. I think it's mostly, to me, this story was still so relevant to what is going on in our society nowadays. It went beyond. It's inspiring, and to me teaches so many lessons that we could all benefit from. And I think Irina had this beautiful capability of having so much empathy and being so open-minded and love for people that were not like, or just for people in general. There wasn't even a question or matter of differences.
And one final question. I'm really impressed by the material that you've chosen to do in your films. And how do you keep your focus on doing what you want to do, important subject matter, rather than going into, typical stuff for an actor your age?
Yeah, I think, well, thank you. I think what drew me to cinema is that I remember moments in my life that I was having a very bad day, or that I felt lonely, and I would go and watch a movie at the theater and felt completely disconnected from my life for X amount of time, and then felt less isolated and felt like someone understood me. And I feel like that's what I look for when I look for a character or a project. And whenever I choose a role, I look at them and I'm like, how will this character resonate with the audience, and what will they see in her, and how will it help someone feel more understood? Will it give someone a voice? And so I think that's kind of what I look for in choosing my projects. And I just have fun with it. I also try to just do projects that are as different from me as possible, because I think that's how you learn and you grow as an actor. And I come from an indie background, but I still kind of want to try to I like to diversify my work as much as possible. So if I can tap into comedy, or if I can tap into whatever, every project I hope will be very different in the rest of my career.
Well, congratulations. Irina's vow is so powerful. Thank you, Sophie.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I received a letter that I've been hiding Jews in my house!
Doesn't matter who we are. What we do is who we are. I think we should have faith. Because if we don't, something else will die inside of us too.